Hi all, welcome back to another lecture of DBMS series, and in this lecture we will be learning about partitioning in databases. So in this whole video we'll be learning about the introduction of partitioning, what exactly partitioning in a database means. Then we'll learn about the benefits of partitioning, why we do that. Then we will learn about some strategies and we'll see the difference between static partitioning and dynamic partitioning as well. And then we'll end up the session by learning about how partitioning affect the query performance. So stay tuned for the video, and this video is going to be important. So let's begin. First, what partitioning means. So it is a process. Partitioning means dividing, right? So it is a process of dividing a large database table into smaller, more manageable pieces, which are called partitions. So a bigger database, and when we want to divide it and store it at different locations, so that management, or you can say data fetching, can be easier. So that is called partitioning. So it improves database performance, scalability, manageability, especially in systems dealing with large volumes of data. So when the data volumes are too large, such that even for a single searching, we need to iterate through the whole database, and that's where the whole speed will be less and the performance will be also low. So in that case, we do this partitioning and division of the database and store those database at different levels. So let's take an example where during the peak seasons, right, where holidays time basically, or festival times, most of the people goes to their hometown, right, and for that they book the Tatkal tickets through the IRCTC. Okay, so during that time, large database, so large number of bookings, cancellations, and transactions have been done, right? So in that case, managing such a large volume of data can be tricky. So in that case, partitioning might be helpful. So by dividing the data into database partitions, the system can optimize the search and retrieval process, right? So each partition, so partitions means when, let's suppose, the bigger data we have divided into three partitions, like after dividing these three different parts will be called as partitions. So these partitions can represent bookings made within a specific month or year. So basically, partition means we are dividing the data, right? But these divisions can be done on different basis. Like, let's suppose we have multiple number of bookings, right? So for train number 101, for date, let's suppose 24th March, we have bookings for person B, train number 102 for 25th March. So we can even go according to train number. So we can divide all those train numbers with 101, 23rd March. So even we can go for train number 101 and divide it accordingly. So for first partition, C and A will come, and the second partition, B will come, right? Or else we can also divide and do the partitioning on the basis of date, right? So we can even collect all those rows having the date less than 24th March will go in one partition, and the dates with greater than 24th March will go in another partition. So two partitions. So in the first partition, we will be having C and A, and the second partition will be having B. So partitioning conditions means on what basis and what conditions we want to divide those data so that manageability and performance will be better. So if a user is looking for a booking made during a specific time frame like festival, the system can directly access the partitions for October. So what will happen? Let's suppose on the monthly basis you have done the partitioning. So you have all the data stored based on the month, right? So for January, February month, March, and so on. So if you want to search for the data or for the booking which has been done in the month of Feb or in the month of October, so instead of searching on the whole 12 months of data, you need now you only need to search for the October month, right? So you can see how the query has been, the optimized query has actually optimized the whole performance of the system. So that is the importance, you can say, why we use partitioning in the databases. So there are few benefits of partitioning that's we already talked about, like better data management. Obviously, if we have the data saved on the basis of monthly basis, then the management of data on the monthly basis, because the data will be lower compared to the previous one where we were saving all the data all together without partitioning. So now after partitioning, the manageability and maintainability will be very easier. Again, the maintenance will be easy. Enhance scalability. What it is? As dataset grows, means as we include more and more rows of data, more partitions can be added without affecting the performance of overall system. So, if let's suppose as of now January, February and March, 3 months have been passed. So now if we have new bookings for April month, so instead of touching all those rest 3 partitions, we need to create one more partition for April month and we will be saving those new data in the April month. So hence we have not affected our previous data. So that's what it means. Next, efficient resource utilization and improved query performance. So obviously how it actually improved the query performance, we know that now we only need to search on the basis of month. So we, prevent from unnecessary search on the whole database. So those are the few benefits of partitioning. Now let's see what are the different strategies for partitioning. So strategy basically means how data is divided across partitions, like on what condition you have divided those data. Choosing the right partitioning strategy depends on the use case and nature of the queries executed to the data set. So we have certain rules and we have certain data sets on what basis we are going to divide the whole database, right? We are going to partition it. But on what condition we are going to use and we should use what type of partitioning, that totally affects the whole performance of the database, right? And what are those different data partitioning methods? These are horizontal partitioning, vertical, range, hash, and list partitioning. In detail, we will be learning about all these in our upcoming lectures. So as of now, let's learn about each of these methods in brief. First is horizontal partitioning. So let's suppose we have a data like for A 101 24th March, for B 102 train ID. These are train ID, these are person name you can say, and this is date section. For 102 25th March, C 103 24th March again. Okay. So what does it actually means now? Key horizontal partitioning says you will be dividing the data based on the rows. So let's suppose you took first 2 rows in partition number 1 and second row in partition number 2, right? So here we divide the partitions on the basis of rows. So for both the partition 1 and partition 2, you can see the schema is same. Schema means structure of the database is same. We have not, in any way we have not hampered the structure, like we have not changed the rows or the values, right? In the second one, which is vertical partitioning, here we divide on the basis of columns. So let's suppose it might happen that in a database we have 100 or 1000 number of columns, and out of those only 10 or 20 being frequently used, right? So every time for applying some queries and unnecessarily triggering all the columns all together will be again time consuming and making the performance low. So in that case, what we will do, let's suppose for every time we need just train ID and date section frequently, and very rarely we use the person name, right? So what we will do in partition number 1, we will be saving these 2 columns with all those rows, and in partition number 2, we will be saving this another column with all the number of rows. So this is what vertical partitioning means, and again with its use case, wherever it is required, we will be applying this vertical partitioning instead of other partitionings, right? Next is range partitioning. So range partitioning means, so here in the horizontal partitioning, you can see that we have divided the number on the basis of the number of rows, but we have not checked it any condition. If we will apply some condition, like we want some dates, all the orders for the date 24th March. So if you will do so, or you can say with you want all the orders, like all the booking IDs, booking rows having the date less than or equal to 24th March. So in that case, first partition will have this first row and the third row because it is having the date value as less than equal to 24th March, and rest all will go in another partitioning. So you can see we have divided on the basis of rows itself, but we have applied one extra condition. Because of it, it is not anymore a horizontal partitioning, but it is a range partitioning. Next is hash partitioning. So about hash, if you know, like let's suppose if we have numbers like 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 and so on, and if we want to save it into groups, then what we do is we will give some hash value, let's suppose 3. So what it will do, right? So what it will do, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, right? These are the values we have, and we have to save in different partitions, right? So what, let's suppose we have 3 different servers where we want to save 3 different servers, server 1, server 2, server 3, right? So what we will do, as we have 3 servers, so what we will do, 1 modulo 3, which is 1, so it will go in server number 1. 2 modulo 3, which is 2 itself, so it will go in server number 2. 3 modulo 3 means 0, right? So let's suppose 0. Okay, my bad, it's not server 3, server 0, right? So 3 will go here. Again 5. So 5 modulo 3 means 2. It will go in server number 2. Again 10. 10 modulo 3 means remainder is 1. So it will go in server number 1 and so on. This is how we actually save the data on the basis of hash thing. So here also we will do the same thing in case of saving the database based on some column. So we will pick out some column and value, and we will apply the hash function and we will save the whole data, whole rows values accordingly. List partitioning is also similar to, you can say, the horizontal partitioning, but here we will be giving some values, and on those, like earlier prior we will give some values, and for all the rows, for the particular column we will check that matching value. If it is so, then we will list those number of rows in some another list and so on. You can say the premium train or the general train, right? So on some categories you can say the facility which they provide in train, or you can say the like AC bogies are there or not, or sleeper train is there, or general seater is there, right? So on that basis, if we have classified into the general train or the premium train, right? So this is basically the listing, or you can say list partitioning, where we save the data on the basis of some predefined values, right? So these are different techniques for partitioning the database, and how we use different types of this on the basis of our needs. Now let's learn about static partitioning. So from the name itself, static means which does not change, right? So static partitioning involves creating partitions upfront and assigning data based on predefined rules. So basically we have some predefined rules, and for all the rows we basically checked for the rules. If it passes, then we will apply, and basically we will save that rows as per the assigned partitions, right? So here we will follow some predefined rules. These partitions do not change frequently, making this strategy suitable for data that do not or does not grow rapidly or change frequently. So basically we apply the static type of partitioning where the data schema does not change frequently, right? So that is only where we can apply the fixed rule, right? Number of partitions and the logic for dividing data are determined before the system goes live, right? Because it is static, and it can lead to uneven data distribution over time if certain partitions become overloaded with the data. Why? Because the rule is fixed, right? So if we, let's suppose we can say the rule is, if the train ID, or you can say the booking ID is even, you will put in partition number 1, and for odd you will put in partition number 2. It might happen, as it has fixed rule, right? And it might happen you have got the all the even booking IDs, you have not got the odd booking ID. So in that case, the server with the having the rule to save all those rows having the even booking ID, so it will get overloaded, right? And as you have very less request for odd booking ID, in that case it will be underutilized. So due to the static partitioning or fixed rule, you cannot optimize it. So in this case, because of the overloading, the site might crash, you might lose the data as well. So this is the bad effect or side effect of this rule, you can say, right? So this means that all bookings from Rajdhani, so this is the example here, we have database for Rajdhani, Duronto and Shatabdi. So these are the different trains and having the, data saved for those trains. So static partitioning can be applied to train booking based on train type also, and this means that all bookings for Rajdhani trains will go to one partition while booking for Duronto to go to the another. So that's what, if we have bookings for Rajdhani train, all those details will be saved here, and for Duronto it will be saved here, and for Shatabdi it will be saved here. It might happen that we have a lot of requests for Rajdhani train itself, okay, and not for Duronto and Shatabdi. So it might happen that these are underutilized and this is overloaded. So even though we have the 3 different types of servers, but still we have routed all the requests on the Rajdhani server, and that might lead to mishappening or the data might lost, right? Whereas this is a dynamic partitioning and it is totally opposite to the static partitioning. Here, unlike static partitioning, it allows the database to create new partitions as needed based on the incoming data. This is more flexible and well suited for the system that experience continuous growth. So here where the changes are, can be expected so frequently, then in that case we go with the dynamic partitioning. It is ideal for high traffic also that need to accommodate growth and change over time. So in case of high traffic, as it does not have any fixed rule. So whenever it found any, overloaded on one server, it started routing the request on the another underutilized server or available server. It helps maintain performance and avoids the risk of overloading partitions, but can introduce complexity in partition management. Why it can introduce complexity in partition management? Because even on the basis of overloading, it has started routing to another server. But as you know that again, it has to change its predefined rules, right? Then in that case, managing all those things on that particular instant of time where it gets the data to be overloaded, right? That might cause the complexity of the database to be high, right? So instead of predefined partitions for specific days, the system dynamically creates a new partition for each day as new booking records come in. So to reduce the overloading, right? So instead of saving earlier, let's suppose it was saving the new partitions on the basis of some dates, right? Now it has started creating new partitions on each day to avoid the overloading. But to create the partitions on each day will be creating the complexity to maintain it. So this ensures the system can handle growing data without any manual intervention, providing flexibility during peak sessions. So although it has a benefit, like in the peak sessions when the data is too high, it maintains and it helps to manage that overloading thing, but again it causes and it creates the complexity as well for the system. So now let's see how partitioning affects the query performance. As you know, as we have already discussed, like where we have saved the data on the basis of month, right? All the bookings basis on month. So if we have to search for some bookings which has been done in some particular month like June. So instead of searching on in for whole year, we just need to select based on the query. We just need to write the query for search for the month of June, and it will give the result, taking the very less time to fetch the data. So partitions reduces the amount of data scanned during a query. When data is partitioned effectively, the query engine can quickly eliminate unnecessary partitions, focusing only on relevant ones, and this actually speeds up the every execution and optimizes the use of system resources like memory and CPU, right? So queries are redirected to the partition they belong to and classified by the date. So if we have some query and we have to save the data on the basis of months, and if that query says that it wants to search the data in the November month, so instead of going to the another data on other servers, it will directly go to the exact database which having the month similar to it, which is November, and it will help to search the data fast, very fast, and hence increasing the performance and reducing the CPU time as well. So this was all about the partitioning and different strategies of partitioning, why it is required and how it is actually helpful in minimizing the performance time. So that was all about the whole lecture. I hope you learned, and Keep learning. Take care of your family and yourself as well. Let's meet in another lecture. Bye-bye.